The Galactic Council had seen many peculiar species in its 20,000-year history, but none quite like the humans. When Rena Vale arrived at the Corvin Military Academy as an exchange instructor, the warriors considered it an insult. Korak, the Academy's most decorated combat master, stood before the human with all four arms crossed. His obsidian exoskeleton gleamed under the training hall's harsh lights, and his mandibles clicked with barely concealed disdain. Humans were soft creatures, no natural armor, no venom, no enhanced strength. What could this fragile being possibly teach the Corvan elite? "You will observe today," Korak rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "Tomorrow we discuss your ... curriculum." Rena simply smiled and took her seat. The training was brutal. Corvan cubs, though, each stood nearly 7 feet tall and outweighed Rena 3-to-1 engaged in combat exercises that would hospitalize most species. They struck without warning, attacked from behind, used every advantage. Victory was everything. Mercy was weakness. "Efficient," Rena commented when Korak approached after the session. "But limited," his mandibles snapped shut. "Limited? They fight like weapons," she said calmly. "Not like warriors?" The insult hung in the air. Several cubs stopped to listen, their compound eyes fixed on the human who dared criticize Corvan tradition. Korak's exoskeleton plates flared, a threat display that had made diplomats flee. Rena didn't flinch. "Demonstrate," Korak hissed, "or leave this world in dishonor." Rena stood and walked to the training circle. She pointed to the nearest cub, a young male named Threx. "Attack me." Full strength, Threx looked to Korak, who gave a sharp nod. The cub charged, 4 arms extending, each capable of crushing bone. At the last moment, Rena pivoted. She didn't strike, didn't block, she simply wasn't where Threx expected. His momentum carried him past, and she tapped his shoulder. "Excuse me," she said politely. "May I show you something?" Threx, confused by the courtesy, hesitated. In that heartbeat of uncertainty, Rena had already moved to his blind spot. Another gentle tap, permission to demonstrate a pressure point. Again, the unexpected request created pause. Rena's finger found a neural cluster between Threx's plates, a spot the cubs didn't know existed. He collapsed, not in pain, but in complete muscular shutdown, reversible, harmless, but absolute. The training hall fell silent. Rena helped Threx up, still smiling. "In human society, we teach our children something before combat techniques. We teach them manners." Korak's interest shifted from anger to curiosity. "Manners are weakness. They create hesitation. Do they?" Rena addressed the assembled cubs now. "When I asked permission, what did you feel?" A smaller cub named Vessa spoke up, her voice uncertain. "Confusion. You were prey." "Prey DOES in single quotes ... "Exactly," Rena said. "I violated your expectations. Every creature in the galaxy knows Corvin's attack without warning. It's your greatest strength and your most predictable weakness. You've become readable." She walked the circle, meeting compound eyes one by one. "Humans survived our homeworld not because we were the strongest. We survived because we were unpredictable. We could be kind, then brutal, cooperative, then competitive. We could say please with a smile and hide a blade behind our backs." Korak stepped into the circle. "You teach deception." "I teach adaptation," Rena corrected. "Your cubs are magnificent fighters. But they've never faced an opponent who thanks them before striking, who apologizes while winning, who makes them question whether they're in a fight or a conversation." She turned to Threx. "Again, but this time, I'll ask politely before every move." The cub attacked with renewed fury, determined not to fall for the same trick. But Rena was already speaking. "Pardon me, may I step here? Thank you. And would you mind terribly if I directed this arm? Wonderful. Now, I apologize in advance for this." Each polite phrase came with movement. Threx found himself twisted, off-balanced, and on the ground again, his mind unable to reconcile the courteous words with the effective combat. His instincts screamed threat while his cognition processed politeness. The contradiction paralyzed him. Rena offered her hand. "Well fought. Shall we go again?" Over the following weeks, the cubs learned what Rena called psychological warfare. They practiced asking permission before strikes, thanking opponents for openings, apologizing for victories. It felt wrong, disgraceful, contrary to every Corvan instinct. Then they began sparring with other Academy units. The results were devastating. Opponents froze when a Corvan said please before attacking. They hesitated when thanked for blocking. They couldn't process a warrior who maintained perfect courtesy while systematically dismantling their defenses. The polite Corvans won 93% of their matches. Korak watched his cubs evolve into something new, warriors who could switch between savage and sophisticated in a heartbeat, who weaponized the enemy's confusion, who made courtesy itself a combat technique. "You've made them unpredictable," he admitted to Rena one evening, watching Vesa politely request an opponent's surrender before executing a flawless takedown. "I've made them human," Rena replied with a slight smile. "Well, Corvan human, the best of both?" The Galactic Council will protest. They'll say we've become more dangerous. "Oh, undoubtedly," Rena's smile widened. "Wait until they meet the cubs who learn to say sorry." Korak's mandibles clicked, but this time in what Rena had learned to recognize as Corvan laughter. "You are a terrifying species, Rena Vale." "Thank you, Korak," she said pleasantly. "That's very kind of you to say," as the training continued. A new doctrine spread through the Corvan military. The most dangerous warrior isn't the one who strikes without warning, it's the one who asks permission first. Because by the time you realize they were never really asking, they've already won. And across the galaxy, species began to learn what humanity had known for millennia. Sometimes the most frightening words aren't a war cry. Sometimes they're just please and thank you.